recording it. I just have to say that I've just watched this video about what happened on this guy that was on the train station and was acting aggressively towards him, and he punched him. And I'm pretty sure that this is actually, I can't remember what day that was, but I feel like that was the day that I first started being like taking an interest in him, because I watched something on TV and it just seemed how unfair. I think I knew who he was mildly from like a month before. There was a few things about, I remember there being a few things about him, but I didn't really like know what it was going on. And then the next thing I know, he's in prison for like a year, and I was kind of like, is that serious? I mean, I thought he was anti-Muslim, and I kind of liked that, so I kind of knew that he was mildly anti-Muslim, and I was kind of supporting. And the next thing I know, he's in prison for a whole year, and personally I kind of thought that was fake, and he wasn't actually in prison. But I don't know, like I don't know what, but I didn't believe it when I found out that he got put in prison for something stupid, releasing a film about something that he believes is the truth. I mean, that's the idea of filming inside a court and not being allowed to express it. I mean, why wouldn't you be allowed to put it on? I want to go inside my mum's court to find out why they've been dragging her to court over a present that she gave to her grandson 5 years ago. This whole thing seems like madness. And so the idea that he got put in prison for some video that gave his view on something, or the victim's views, the whole thing just seemed like madness, and I didn't really know what was going on. And because it just seemed like ridiculous, like this is insanity. And then I'm listening to him going to prison, then he comes out, and then he starts bringing up all these files about all the people that have sued him, and he has to pay for his own time in prison. I saw a big long, it seemed completely fake, it seemed completely unbelievable, and it's just making me think, what, someone's suing you for £200,000. I'm sure there's about £200,000 worth of fees because they're suing you, and you apparently lost because of the corrupt court saying that you've lost, hence making you pay for their court fees and as well as your fees. And I don't know what is going on with this guy, but it feels like there's a big bunch of mad people surrounding him that are just trying to attack him. And this story that I'm hearing about him being attacked or feeling like there's an aggressor about to viciously attack him, and he just punching because he felt like he needed to. I can understand this fear. If you're saying lots of things against Islam, you're going to be attacked. And the blindness of the police. I mean, to be honest, this whole thing just seemed like a joke. Like, what? This is a joke. This is not real. But now he's saying things like.
I spoke with them the whole time. People are stabbed every day and butchered every day. They're shot every day. You don't see that in London. You don't see these images. So this entire thing, The Guardian sent journalists to Tenerife, where I was. They went into the gym. They went into local cafes. They knocked on people's doors who they believed I'm associated with. They knocked on their doors, took pictures of them as they were hunting me down as I was on the run. So this entire story, I wasn't on the run.
I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe the reason why you were hunting him down is because I started talking. I think it was about the day that report came out. That was when I started. So maybe that they weren't after him to try and attack him, but rather they were trying to get information from him because I was showing him support that day. I don't know. Like, I can't even remember if that was the day that I named him. I made a card where I actually named him something, and I'm pretty sure it was that day, or it might have been a week before. But I definitely started watching his interviews just after that. I'm a little bit confused about on what dates, but I don't understand this whole story.
Situations where you would have been quite frightened, but when you were arrested,
I've never faced life in prison, and at GBH Section 18 carry life in prison. So GBH Section 18 is one under murder.
When that happened, now when I first saw it, I immediately knew that, all right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, and I'm
find
very
the right
happy.
place.
Continuously until the man attempted to violently attack me, at which point I defended myself. So the police had full knowledge that I was the victim. They knew I only defended myself. So why was I arrested? Why was it portrayed across the whole country as though I'd killed someone? But yeah, I don't have to answer bail now. I was obviously concerned that they could try and fabricate or use a charge.
I don't know what's going on with him, but you've obviously scared the shit out of him based on that punch that he did, that he felt he needed to. I didn't believe for a second that he did attack this person. I felt like this person, it was probably you know, a mutual, there was a reason for it. But he said that the witnesses themselves were actually saying that he did attack. I mean, is that true? I would love to know if that's an actual real fact. Like, did the witnesses literally say that this guy was the one that Tommy Robinson punched that other guy? Because if the witnesses are saying that, I feel like you should take something like that as actual proof that witnesses are stupid and they are unreliable. You know, I mean, I would love to know that, actually. That's a good question. How many people have come forward against someone and said, this is what happened, A, B, and C happened, and then if you've actually got real footage of kind of what happened and saw that actually what the witnesses were saying was not the truth, or not in exact, you know, wasn't accurate in any way, you know, how many times has that happened? Because if that has happened quite a lot of times, that kind of just shows that eyewitnesses are totally useless when it comes to it. But I'm not going to say too much, but I'll post the link in this video. But after listening to this story, I just feel like I feel like there's a whole huge number of people that just want to attack him in any way they can and try and put him back in prison. I don't know what is with this guy. It's like there's a whole bunch of mad people that are just following him around and trying to put him in prison. You know, who are the mad people that are following him? Because I reckon whoever's trying to put him back in prison are probably people who are supporting the Islamic side. And I don't care if they're Christian or anything. I don't care what their religion is. I see it as being Islamic because I see it as being backwards and people just trying to prevent something that needs to happen. You know, the more time goes on, the more Islamic people they're going to be, because the more the world increases, the more the number of first-timer souls, humans that are first-timers as humans. So you get reincarnated. The more lives you have, the more, you know, the more lives you have, the more intelligent you become. But as the population increases, you know, more and more people, there's more human bodies. The more human bodies there are, the more first-timer humans there are. And because first-timer humans seem to love the Islamic religion, you know, you will find that as time goes on, more and more Islamic people will start to be formed. And at some point, they will have a bigger army than the evolved souls. So you have to be careful at that. I mean, at one hand, you want people on both sides. So you need lots of intelligent souls that have evolved, and you need lots of Islamic people that are unevolved and don't seem to see any faults in their religion. And then of course you need to plant some sort of evolved souls within the Islamic community so that when they can turn. I mean, this guy looks very westernized, and he looks like he very so much supports him, but he also looks slightly Islamic. So it's not about look, it's not about what race or whatever. Intelligent souls can be born in any sort of race or any sort of family, but intelligent souls know that there's something wrong with Islam, whereas unintelligent souls just want to read their book and blame everything on whatever their religion tells them to. You know, they are very much governed by an old book rather than see, actually, I want to follow, you know, all sorts of knowledge, not just the knowledge that's found within my religion.